On this episode of On the Mic with Mike and Moose.
because we're going to be real. We're going to be open and honest about struggles, what's working, what's not working in our faith, our life. Um, Talking about real parts of family. We're not going to sugarcoat it.
Hi, welcome to On the Mic with Mike and Moose. This is Moose coming to you from wonderful Birmingham, right just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm here with Mike Pickett, Pastor Mike.
What's up, y'all? I'm coming all the way from Moore, Oklahoma, the tornado capital of the world.
So, so we I met Mike on TikTok. Uh, he's become very popular with just some of his work, praying for people and doing his nightly lives, and he and I connected that way just by chance. And we've gotten to talk to each other. Decided we wanted to do a podcast. So
This is going to be fun.
yeah. So I just wanted to kind of do an introduction podcast for us because you may not know who we are. We want to do something very brief. Um, Definitely looking forward to getting more in depth. We want to do some stuff that is kind of fun. We want to do some stuff that's a little more serious. And Mike, I don't know if you want to kind of talk a little bit about your background and what your thoughts are about doing a podcast like this.
Well, I think a podcast like this is going to be great because we're going to be real. We're going to be open and honest about struggles, what's working, what's not working in our faith, our life. Um, Talking about real parts of family. We're not going to sugarcoat it. People are going to know kind of what real life is like with me in the ministry, with people that are like Moose that is in ministry in his own part. Maybe not a senior pastor like me, but even still doing more ministry some days than I am because he's there with patients and different things like that. So we're going to talk about the nitty gritty of life, but we're also going to have fun. That's the big.
I mean, that's important. So, you say you're a senior pastor. You're in Moore, Oklahoma. Kind of give us a little background on you and how you got to be where you are.
So I've been in Moore, Oklahoma next month, 3 years. We just celebrated this last weekend, the interview date that we had when we came up here to meet with the church board, and it was great. The same day that we did that was the same day we sent our son out to be youth pastor somewhere else. So it was bittersweet. It was kind of a cool day. But we moved up here. I've been in ministry now 23 years plus. And I say plus because before I was officially in ministry, uh, I helped in different places, and I'd gotten away from God for a while. But I've been a youth pastor, uh, a senior pastor, an executive pastor. I never ever want to be an executive pastor ever again, ever, ever, ever.
Get to handle all the business as executive pastor, right?
I never want to do that again. So I did that for a whole whopping 13 months, and that was 13 months too long. Um, but that's my ministry life. I've been a senior pastor of 4 different churches. Each one of them are revitalization projects. I've had the opportunity to go to an established church that's uh, been great in numbers and finances and all that. But God's always led my heart to the church that's about to close down, to the church that's struggling. And praise be to God, every one of those churches are still here, not because of me, but just because of obedience. And so we've served there and we've served in youth ministry. And I love doing youth ministry. I knew my time in youth ministry had come to an end. Instead of wanting to pray for a kid, I wanted to lay hands in another way upside their head. And I had to say, okay, it's time for youth ministry to stop because my patience threshold is gone. And so we did youth ministry for a while. But I'm married to my high school sweetheart, bro. Her name is Jody. Uh, she was 14, I was 16, and blessed to have basically dated her through high school. Now, we didn't go to the same high school, but we were still high school sweethearts because of our age. And we got married. We've been married now 25 years. Here's what you do. Gentlemen, if you ever want to be smart, marry someone on the beginning of a millennium that year. I married my wife in 2000. So whatever year it is, I will always remember how many years I've been married.
So what you're saying is, so if guys want to wait, they can wait till the year 2100 to get married,
That's it. Yeah.
or 3000.
Some of y'all, that might actually help you. So, but no, so with it being 2025, it's been 25 years. Yay. So I can remember. But the only bad thing about my wife, she's an Alabama fan.
Roll Tide.
And so, Moose right here is a Bama fan too. And they have to say that ungodly statement, roll tide roll. And it just makes me want to get sick. But that's my wife. My son's 24. He's a youth pastor here at Compassion Church in Oklahoma City. He went from our church. Our church runs about 100 people, and that's a good Sunday. Sometimes we run a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. Now he went from our church to a church that runs about 350, 400. So it's a little bit larger. This is his first time in ministry. So we're very excited for him. And then my daughter, who's in this room right behind me right now that I'm probably keeping up, but she'll get over it. No, I'm just kidding. She sleeps like a log, no lie. She's autistic, and God's blessed her to overcome her, not overcome her diagnosis. I hate using that word, to understand what it means, because those that are autistic, there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them. God touches and uses them just like he does anybody else. He touches neurotypical and neurodivergent people all the same, but in different ways. So that's a little bit about my family. Outside.
And you're originally from the Panhandle of Florida?
Well, I moved there when I was 12. I'm originally from Vicksburg, Mississippi. I lived there till I was 12, and loved living in Mississippi growing up. But Mississippi started taking a downhill turn when the gambling boats came into Vicksburg, and it messed up the town for a pretty good long time. So my parents got us out of there, moved us to Pensacola. But bro, when I was in middle school, this is no exaggeration whatsoever, I went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 middle schools. I moved quite a bit when I was in middle school. Yeah, my parents, when they couldn't pay the rent anymore, instead of talking to the landlord or trying to work something out, we'd get in our vehicles and take our junk. That's what it was at that time, because we couldn't hold on to anything valuable because we didn't have enough time to take anything valuable with us. All that was at storage back at someplace else. So, bro, I was raised up. But when Alabama sang in the Song of the South, so poor we couldn't tell we were that poor. For government cheese, I thought everybody had government cheese. And bro, let me tell you this: government cheese is some of the best cheese still to this day. And so we were dirt poor, and but I praise God for leaning through that. But ministry 23 years, married 25 years, got a 24-year-old, got a 20-year-old, 24-year-old son, 20-year-old daughter. And that's a little bit about me. But outside of that, on the fun side of things, I love Star Wars. I love Lord of the Rings. I love anything geeky or nerdy, Marvel, things like that. I love medieval time period pieces. I love anything that has to do with knights and stuff like that. I'm also
Vikings.
Yes, yeah. I'm also a social media consultant for our denomination, and I'm the school of ministry director for our conference and the clergy development director. So I'm crazy because I don't know how to say no. So,
Understand.
ladies and gentlemen, learn to say the word no. So I do this thing called TikTok, and we began that in November. And bro, it was cringy. My first few videos, some of them were still cringy. For those first few ones, I would go and delete them, but it would hurt the account. So I leave them up so I can go back and remind myself, look how far we've come.
I don't know. You dancing a little bit on your videos. That's kind of cringy itself.
Yes, it is. Listen, hey, I've learned one thing, Moose, about this. The algorithm on TikTok, this is no lie, loves dancing because it is still partly, what was the name? Musically. It's still part Musically. I mean, that's
Mhm.
where it came from. So anytime you do little dances and stuff like that, it eats it up. And
I hear you.
I only do that because I know the algorithm will help with my other 2 videos I put out that day. That's the only reason y'all heard my secret. You heard it here.
I got you. I got you.
So but that's
So just a little bit about myself. So I did not grow up in the church. My my parents divorced when I was not even a year old, and my mom remarried when I was three, yeah, or two and a half. And my stepdad was Catholic, and to say he was Catholic, he was more Catholic than name it, you know, to be pretty much to sum it up. We did like I would go with them sometimes, like a holiday Catholic. They would be there on Easter or Christmas or whatever, but just didn't grow up and go up in church. And um, the when I was in middle school, my best friend said, "Hey, you want to come play some basketball?" I said, "Sure." And I had been to vacation Bible schools, as a kid, but I'd never really been, ingrained in a church. And he got me to church, and I was pretty much middle school all the way through high school. I was pretty. I stayed with it a little bit into college. I stayed with it, and then I got carried away with college life, and uh, it was about 12 years, 10 years, somewhere in there, where I was just like, I was hanging out with the wrong people. I was saying the wrong things. I was partying, and finally got my graduate degree after working for a few years. Went back, got my graduate degree, met a woman. We got married, had a baby. Baby had to have open heart surgery. But the great thing about it is we're recording this tonight. She turned 12 years old today. Um, and
that's
so, yeah, so, um, but I felt just something was missing in my life. And 2012, I went to go speak to our senior pastor. He wasn't available, but our executive pastor was. And he was a guy based in science, has a hard sciences degree, but he's a pastor, and you don't see those very often. And so I could kind of relate to him just based off of what I had been going through. And finally, um, in 2013, I kind of started getting back. 2015 went to a split with my ex-wife. 2016, divorce was final. Fighting for just the right to be able to see my daughter. Reconnected with my high school sweetheart, and then almost a year later we were married. But this time, that she has encouraged me to go to church, whereas my previous wife was not. The next thing you know, I'm going on mission trips. I'm doing a discipleship group. I'm greeting at church, and then we fast forward. We'll be married 8 years coming up this coming up week. Now I'm the director of men's ministry at church, and I can't be ordained, which I've come to terms with that. But I love the fact that she was so encouraging to me, and we've really grown so much. So
congrats on the 8 years, bro.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's actually long. This marriage so far has lasted longer than the first one, so that's good. And I got a good relationship with my daughter. She's 12. Um, Straight A student. She doesn't live. She lives about 35-minute drive from here. It's not bad. It's been longer. It's actually been. She's living in Orange Beach, and now she lives south of Birmingham, so we're good there. But it's just amazing to kind of see the influences in my life that kind of got me back into God. One of the things I felt like has done this, and it's funny because when I first started this, I was on my way out from God, and then when I came back to Alabama after living in West Virginia for a year, I met some new guys that have kind of influenced my life the other direction. So I'm a high school football official. This fall will be my 22nd year doing it. So I started in 2003. I love doing it. I'm on TV some. I'm a white hat, and that's just kind of some of the stuff we do. And then that's one of the things I do. I also teach. I teach at University of Lynchburg online. Um, and I do a lot of odds and ends job. So I just think that my life compared to 10 years ago is just like a complete 180. 10 years ago, I was in such a horrible spot, and you see this every night with your lives. People coming in, they're desperate, and they're like, nothing's gonna change, or I'm in a hole or whatever. Well, that was me 10 years ago, and so now I feel like it's just a process. You've got to. There's certain things you have to do to get back right in your life, and that was one of the things that I think Jessica was one of the key impacts in my life that helped me get back to where I am right now.
Amen.
So,
That's,
so as far as this podcast goes, what do you see? Think would you like to see come out of it?
I do want to ask you one question before I get into that.
Yeah.
Do you go get your eyes checked since you're an official? Because I know the fans want you to do that quite often.
No, we've always joked about how we're going to show up with canes and sunglasses on coming to a game, but officiating is probably a lot like pastoring.
Yeah.
You're expected to be perfect and only get better
Come on.
as it goes on. And so, if you sit back and think about it, if I'm supposed to be perfect, but then I'm supposed to get better, how's that? How does that work? You know?
Well, that is true. That is true. Yeah, I am told constantly how I could pastor a little bit better too. So
Yeah.
feel you on that, man. So, but what you said, what do we expect out of this podcast?
Yeah.
I expect us to be able to help people kind of understand that the Christian walk uh, is a walk that can be a joyous thing, but also some seriousness while we're talking about things on here, of course, and growth. But to know that you're not in this alone.
Hmm.
You have people that are out there that love you, and that people that are going to be there. But from this podcast, just to where they can kind of see behind the scenes. One of my favorite movie scenes is in The Wizard of Oz. When they go back with the broom from the Wicked Witch, if you remember, they go in there and they go to talk to the wizard, and they're in there in the big, powerful Oz. You know how he talks.
Hmm.
He's losing control, and then Toto goes over there and pulls the curtain back, and he pulls the curtain and says, "Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain." And they see the wizard for who he really is. I hope this podcast exposes in a good way what Christian men like us, Christian life in general, if you're a female watching this, we hope you feel this way too. That we are an open book, that we're transparent, that people know that we have struggles too, and we're going to talk about some of those struggles, and we're going to talk about those times that we're down, but just to let people know that Christians can be real, that we're not this pinned up type of um, unattainable type of people that we have arrived.
And that's kind of what I see it as well. Um, we have lives too. We're human beings, and I think a lot of times, and where I go to church out of Birmingham, our pastor's very open about some of the struggles he's gone through. Like I know he'll tell you he was a teenage alcoholic, and it wasn't until he gave his life to God at like 17 years old that he was able to he's been able to drop it and never look back. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't drive by a bread factory and smell the yeast and it doesn't affect him. You know what I mean. Like we have struggles. I have struggles myself. I have struggles from my that 2003 to 2013, 14 area. I still have struggles with that every day. But I think that that's a good way for us to kind of look at some topics, and we may not be overly religious about it, but we're still looking through the lens of a Christian.
And we're gonna, I believe the good thing is we're not gonna come from just personal conviction, but we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
Bible, like on different topics, like
Yeah.
all those kind of things that men, women, all kinds of people deal with, and be really open and honest. I think the statistic shows that within the church, this is not the world, right? But within the church, and I believe the statistic's higher now, that 60% of men in church struggle with 62%. And just to be able to say, hey, we're going to talk about these type of topics, things that we really struggle, things that we all have been, and to be able to say you've got somebody else, you got brothers right here that have been. We're not going to lie about it. We're going to tell you, hey, this is where we've been, and I think it's so important because the things that if I didn't handle when God saved me, where I would be today, I know that old adage where they say I'd be either be in jail, hell, or dead. All those together, and probably so, because I was not going down a good path. Sure would.
Well, hey, we're kind of coming up on the end of our first episode. Just like I said, it's just an introduction. Um, if I just want to put this out there that if you feel free, that please like and subscribe. That's the only way we can get this viewpoint out to the masses. We do have an email address. It's mikeandmoose2025@gmail.com. If you have any questions or have a suggestion for a topic, feel free to do that. Like I said, like and subscribe, share with people, and just want to put it out there that we hope to be making a weekly podcast out of this, just to talk about different aspects of life that we feel are important for us to talk about, and then to be able to share with our faith.
That's right.
All right, so you're going to see this. This is going to happen after every episode. There's going to be some links that's going to come across your screen. The links are going to be to our Discord page called Rooted. It's going to have both mine and Pastor Mike's personal TikToks. We're going to have some Instagram and Facebook for the show. I'll be looking for updates for there, maybe some sneak peeks. And I guess that's all we got for episode 1. So
it's been real.
It's been real. All right. Appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. As I end every one of my TikTok videos, I just want to say, I'm praying for you.